20 body language signs that mean he's into you. Figure him out before he opens his mouth. Well, yes and no. Let's talk about body language. Hi everyone, my name is Sarah and welcome back to Everyday Consent. Often in discussions about the importance of verbal consent, it's common for somebody to ask, what about body language? Unfortunately, this often devolves into an argument, with some people saying only verbal consent matters, and other people saying just pay attention to body language. Verbal consent is redundant and unnecessary. And so we find ourselves having to choose between which constitutes real consent, verbal or nonverbal communication. But, my lovely viewers, why not both? This supposed battle between verbal and nonverbal communication is a false dichotomy. Both verbal and nonverbal communication can be very useful for understanding what your partner is feeling and whether mutual consent is really happening. But also, both verbal and nonverbal communication have the power to be very misleading about those same things. I'll give some examples. Let's start at the beginning, because verbal and nonverbal signals come into play well before you're actually in bed with someone. It's also a big part of the flirting stage. The internet will tell you lots of ways to tell if someone is interested in you from their body language. Things like making a lot of eye contact, preening or touching their face, smiling, laughing, facing their whole upper body towards you, raising an eyebrow, or even dilating their pupils. Paying attention to nonverbal cues like this is not a ridiculous idea. How someone is acting physically certainly can give you clues about how they're feeling. If you're talking to someone and they are facing you and making lots of eye contact and smiling and laughing at all your jokes, then yeah, those can all be good signs that they're at least enjoying talking to you. And certainly if they're avoiding eye contact and frowning and facing away from you, then that's probably a bad sign. Either way, that's useful information and worth paying attention to. So body language can be quite useful at this stage, but it also can be really misleading. Firstly, if someone is giving off a lot of positive signals, that might mean that they enjoy talking to you, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they want to have sex with you. They also might just be a really polite or flirty person and act that way when they're talking to anyone. Also, even specific nonverbal cues might mean vastly different things depending on the circumstances. For example, when someone crosses their arms, that's often seen as standoffish, but maybe they're just cold. Even laughing is ambiguous. It could be a sign that they're having a good time, but it could show that they're nervous or uncomfortable. And then there's always resting bitch face. If you're not familiar, that's when someone's face just naturally looks really angry or annoyed, even when they think they're making a really neutral facial expression. So if you're just relying on body language, any of these signals could be really misleading. You might think they're signaling, I like you, or don't talk to me, when they're really just thinking, I wonder if I should get eggs at the store later. So based on all that, you're probably thinking, clearly nonverbal communication is flawed. We should just use our words and ask if they're interested. And I agree, using your words can definitely help clear things up. It's much more likely to get a clear answer than relying on the mental arithmetic of, well, they're making eye contact and they're laughing at my jokes, but their torso's facing away from me and they haven't touched their hair. But relying on words alone can be misleading too. When you ask someone if you can buy them a drink, if they look really uncomfortable and say, okay, then they technically said yes, but they might not be super excited to chat with you. So it's important to pay attention to both verbal and nonverbal cues. So that's the flirting part, but what about once you're actually hooking up with someone? If you're actually touching someone, then there is a lot that you can communicate in how you move your body with theirs. This is true even in non-sexual situations. When you're dancing with someone, you usually use your body to signal how you want them to move instead of announcing your every step. We also communicate physically with animals all the time. Your cat might rub up against your leg to let you know that they're hungry. Or you might rub your dog's belly to let them know that they're such a good boy. And we definitely communicate physically with our partners during sex. You might guide their hands to the buttons of your shirt to get them to take it off. Or you might reach your face down to kiss them but not go all the way just to see if they'll rise to meet you. That sort of thing. So, nonverbal communication during sex is totally a thing, but it can also be misleading. For example, if you're performing oral sex on someone and they're moving their hips around a lot, that could mean that they're really enjoying it and moving unconsciously. Or maybe they're trying to move your head in a specific direction because it feels better over there. Or maybe they're really not enjoying it and are in pain and are pulling away from you. Similarly, some people get really still or quiet when they're really enjoying sex. But, as we've talked about in previous episodes, stillness or silence can also be a really, really bad sign and an indication that you should immediately stop. Here again, it's a really good idea to just use our words and ask our partner how they're feeling. But verbal communication during sex is not perfect either. Even though it's technically the same word, there's a really big difference between, sure, and sure. Also, talking about sex can be really difficult, so even if you are communicating verbally, you still might not be communicating very clearly. And paying attention to nonverbal signals can help you get more continuous feedback, instead of just relying on verbally checking in every once in a while. So anyway, the point is that consent is not only about verbal communication or only about nonverbal communication. It's important to try to make use of both. On their own, either verbal or nonverbal is useful, but deeply flawed. But with their powers combined, we can vastly improve our chances of actually knowing what's going on and respecting our own and our partner's desires and boundaries. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of this video, or you can always email me at everydayconsent@gmail.com. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more from me, don't forget to subscribe. Happy consenting, folks. I'll see you next week. And then there's always risting bitch face. So that's the
That's the flirting part.
Flirt. Similarly, I apparently can't write a script without writing that word in there.
Butts and similarly. Similarly butts.
Similarly, butts.
We'll just make that your tagline.
Similarly, butts. It's actually not bad. It's not bad.